What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dynasty Diehards. We are back for 2024. You may have noticed we took the last couple of weeks off with the holidays and it being the fantasy playoffs. Not a whole lot to do in Dynasty between really week 16 and week 18 here, but we're back getting ready for the Senior Bowl. I'm joined here by Dave Stewart at Dave Fantasy on Twitter. Dave, are you ready to talk about some of these rookies?
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, this is kind of the time of year you were just talking about it right before we went live. This is kind of the time of year where you're familiarizing yourself with all the names that are going to be in the draft. I know there's a lot of guys out there that already know all these dudes, but some of us got to catch up, right, Nate?
That's right. Well, and we're sending a whole contingent of Dynasty Diehards to the Senior Bowl this year, all with credentials. We have now 5 of us who will be covering it for Dynasty Diehards. Make sure that you're following us on Twitter at FFDinoDiehards. You can also find us on razzball.com. Let's throw this little graphic up here for you. Please make sure you like and subscribe so you're not missing any of our videos. You can also find the Dynasty Diehards, our own channel on Razzball, guys. Come check it out. We have all of this great content for you here as the Senior Bowl and the draft are approaching. Now, Dave, the Senior Bowl, they say the draft starts in Mobile here, right? And that's kind of what we're looking at. We've got a contingent of players who are continuing to commit. Bo Nix being one of the latest big names to commit. And let's just get into it here, Dave. Let's just get into it. All right, Dave. So the first player I really want to talk about here with this Senior Bowl, I'm a tight end guy, right? Love tight ends. It's probably the position that I dig into the most because it's the most difficult one here to grade out in fantasy football. Ben Sinnott out of Kansas State. This kid is incredibly talented. The little bit of film I've had the opportunity to watch on him, what I really took away from it is he's very Dalton Kincaid-esque. He's got that big frame. He's got that really wide catch radius. And seriously, his spatial awareness, Dave, is insane.
Yeah, I mean, ever since you brought this guy up to me, I've been looking around trying to get as much highlights and stuff. I didn't watch a lot of Kansas State. I'm not gonna lie. But I like him a lot. Yeah, everything that you're saying, his hands. I mean, he's just got such solid hands. Every time they throw the ball to him, you pretty much count that as a reception.
Something he does well that you really look for with tight ends is that he finds soft spots in zone coverage. That's something that Travis Kelce does really well for Patrick Mahomes. It's something that we have watched Sam Laporta develop into in Detroit for Jared Goff. And these are the kind of tight ends that are going to start to get looks early on. They're not going to get the Kyle Pitts treatment here, like what Arthur Smith is doing to that talent. I really like him. I think he's we'll see how it goes at the Senior Bowl. Again, I'm excited to see a lot of these guys live in person.
That'd be cool.
I do believe he could creep into the second round. He's not going to be a first round tight end, but I do believe that Ben Sinnott could be a second round tight end. Something that I noted, his PFF blocking grade, he has a 75 plus grade on PFF run blocking and pass blocking. Took 97 snaps out of the backfield at Kansas State last season as a fullback running back. The dude can block. Teams are going to draft a guy like this, and they just want to find reasons to keep him on the field. It's like how I feel about Daniel Bellinger in New York. He's such an exceptional blocker, both in the run game and the passing game. You kind of just want him out there all the time. And tight ends like that tend to get more targets because they're on the field. They get a 70, 80, 90% snap share. But Ben Sinnott seems like a guy who will turn into that in the NFL. And from a fantasy standpoint, guys, keep your eyes on him because he could creep up in those rookie drafts. But if you're doing them pre-NFL drafts, Sinnott's a guy you might get in the 4th round, and I would be absolutely jumping at the chance if you're doing those early rookie drafts to be able to get Ben Sinnott.
Yeah. I mean, this guy's definitely got the possibility of slotting right into an offense and having, an impactful rookie season. Maybe not quite Sam Laporta impactful, but you already kind of likened him to Dalton Kincaid, and I think he could have that sort of a role in the right offense, right off the bat.
Well, and hopefully more of a role than what we've seen Kincaid get. I think I know I've been disappointed. I thought he was going to get more work in that Buffalo offense, especially with Gabe Davis being such just kind of a mid type player, not really exciting in any sort of way. And we saw flashes of it. He hasn't gotten a ton of it, but again, in the right situation, you put him in an Atlanta situation and he's useless. It's not going to happen. But he's worth a risk here. Pre-draft, he's worth a risk because everyone else is looking at guys like Brock Bowers, right? That's the big name.
The fancy name, yeah.
It's the fancy name. Ben Sinnott's a guy that Sam Laporta was going later in rookie drafts. He almost wasn't on people's radars this time last year. And for those dynasty managers that are looking for that excitement and doing those early rookie drafts, this is a guy I would be paying attention to. All right. Ben Sinnott, Kansas State tight end. The guy is just super talented. The next player I want to talk about, Dave, is Dylan Laube. Yeah. Dylan Laube out of New Hampshire, small school, a guy a lot of people probably haven't heard of. I'll tell you, it was really hard to find film on this kid. But what I found, size-wise, there are some concerns. He's under 6 foot. He's under 200 pounds. I comp him to a discount James Cook, the way that he plays. There. So if he can play up to that level, and again, with all of these guys in the right offense, I really like what I see. For his size, he wins a lot of contested catches out of the backfield, which I thought was pretty interesting. Not only that, but he wins them on the sideline, Dave, and he runs really efficient go routes, which for a running back, guys outside of like Christian McCaffrey, you don't see a lot of backs that can do that. You certainly don't see guys like Derrick Henry doing that. Alvin Kamara is not really a go route guy, as much of a receiving back as he is. And he saw a lot of usage at New Hampshire out of the backfield. James Cook, you don't use him inside the 20. Dylan Laube's not a guy you're going to use inside the 20. He has issues scoring. He has issues penetrating the line in those stacked line situations, much like James Cook does. But he's going to score touchdowns from outside the 20 on passing downs. He's going to break those long plays. There was one particular play, I can't remember who they were playing, Dave. Laube went 85 yards.
Central Michigan.
85 yards. It was at Central Michigan. It was Central Michigan. They went 85 yards on that little like screen bubble play.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I want to see out of these guys, especially these back end round guys. Tyjae Spears last year. Yeah, the running efficiency is there. The ability to accelerate going around the edge. You can get away from those edge rushers and those linebackers. He can do that too. But what really just struck me about Tyjae Spears was that pass catching ability. And that's what got him on the field in Tennessee. And then he showed, hey, I can do everything else at the NFL level.
Right. Yeah, I think for Spears, that definitely gave him more opportunities just by getting him on the field for the passing downs. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and exactly. So, same thing could happen for Laube here a little bit. I did watch, what highlights I could find, and I saw a lot of that Central Michigan game actually. But yeah, he was, like every catch was a first down. That was his best game. It definitely was his best game, but yeah, he's he showed what he can do.
The thing that concerns me about him is yards after contact, and because of his size, if he's not slipping through tackles, he's probably going down. He went down too often on arm tackles, where it's like, come on, man, you should be able to break through that. But because of his size, he doesn't do it, and he's first significant contact. A lot of times, he's down within 2 to 3 yards. Can he work on that at the NFL level? If he bulks up, absolutely. Does he need to? I don't know, because that's kind of James Cook's game too. Alvin Kamara is not great yards after contact either. He's just slippery. So
that's true. That's
true. These are when we're looking at these rookies, and these are things that I want to see at the Senior Bowl as well. I want to see how these guys are playing. I want to see it in person. I want to see that speed, that acceleration. I want to see how they work in zone coverage versus man coverage, zone blocking schemes, man blocking schemes, different stacks, different stunts, different blitzes. That's going to tell us a lot of what we need to know, because these coaches are going to run more NFL style offenses. We're going to see more of an NFL style type of play here at the Senior Bowl, which is something that is amazing. That's what I love about what Jim Nagy has done with this event.
Yeah. I mean, the Senior Bowl is awesome. You should pull up this note from Brad. He's already got somebody for you to look at while you're there.
Yep. Malachi Corley. Brad, I promise you, I am just overwhelmed with rookie film right now. I'm going through as many guys as I can. I'll be through everyone through everyone by the time we get down there with the help of my other 4 wonderful Dynasty Diehards. But yes, Malachi Corley, I have watched a little bit of film. Very DJ Moorish. I couldn't agree more. Looking very much forward to it. And Dave, before we get on to the wide receiver that I have profiled for today's show, I want to go over some of the names of note that we're going to have here today, have here at the Senior Bowl this year. We've got Xavier Leggett from South Carolina. We've got Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. Jamari Thrash, who's probably the next guy on my list to profile wide receiver-wise, out of Louisville. Marcus Rosemy Jackson out of Georgia, and Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. So 2 Georgia wide receivers. We've got Johnny Wilson out of Florida State, guy who's been on my radar for a little while. Those are the wide receivers we're interested in here. Then we've got Brevin Spann-Ford out of Minnesota. Minnesota tends to turn out pretty decent tight ends here. Obviously, Ben Sinnott, who we just talked about, Jaheim Bell. We've got Cody Schrader out of Missouri. And the quarterbacks, a name we all know, Spencer Rattler. We all thought he might be coming out last year, decided not to dip his hand into that quarterback class. He's coming out this year because he's a senior out of South Carolina. Bo Nix, as I mentioned earlier, so far the biggest offensive name who is coming to the Senior Bowl. We're sure that will change. But then we've also got Sam Hartman out of Notre Dame, who declared today that he will be attending the Senior Bowl. That's exciting. We've got some names here that are going to be of interest to dynasty managers as we start to get into rookie drafts. And I'm excited to kind of dig into these guys. The wide receiver I want to get to here, Dave, a player that I'm excited to see how he pans out in the NFL, because he reminds me of, well, another Florida Gator, Ricky Pearsall and Percy Harvin. They just seem so similar to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. I can see that comparison.
The thing about Pearsall is his quick feet, sneaky speed. He accelerates when he gets into the secondary. He can get away from defenders pretty easily. His footwork allows him to lose defenders mid-route. I can't tell you how many times I watched him run a route where just these little like cutesy little moves with his feet, but he's so quick that he can set a defender going right and he goes left. And he moves through those with ease. Mm-hmm. Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, kind of that smaller white guy, a little bit bigger than Percy Harvin. He's also consistently creating yards after the catch, which from an NFL receiver, that's, again, very Percy Harvin-ish. But because he works out of the slot so often, but he works outside, but he runs those shallow cross routes. Saw a lot of those with him at Florida, especially with Anthony Richardson his junior year. He runs them effectively, and he gets 10 to 15 yards after the catch on those.
Yeah. And, like Percy Harvin, you had mentioned that, he's probably going to get some work as a returner, which obviously was something Percy Harvin did exceptionally well.
Right. Well, and he did it well at Florida too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, a lot to be excited about here with the Senior Bowl. I'm really looking forward to getting into a little bit more of this rookie film. The new year, so wish I had a little bit more time to do it. And now here we are at week 18. So it's time to kind of start digging into this stuff. And it's going to be a fun little journey for us to get down into Mobile, probably sweat our asses off. Hopefully going to have some nice custom shirts for everybody to wear so you can see our names. But we will be live every single day, Tuesday through Saturday from Mobile, Alabama, breaking down everything that we see on the field, everyone we talked to during the day, putting all that information together for you. We have a whole Senior Bowl house, Dave. A whole Senior Bowl house full of some of the smartest dynasty minds out there, not just diehards guys. We may or may not have somebody from Monocle Dynasty. We might have someone from Player Profiler joining us for some of those shows as well. So it's going to be a fun time, man.
That sounds awesome. I mean, it sounds really exciting. So you guys are going to have a good time.
Oh, it should be an absolute blast. Well, guys, this was a short, sweet show here for Thursday. We'll be back next Wednesday with a much longer version of Dynasty Diehards. We just wanted to get it out here for you. We took a couple of weeks off, and it felt nice to kind of just get back going again. See, I forgot how to talk, Dave. I haven't been on camera in two freaking weeks. It's been too long, though. I am doing some radio tonight, so I'm excited for that. Come check me out on Sirius XM channel 87. It is the fantasy sports channel. I'll be on with Bob Harris at 11:20 p.m. Eastern. Guys, I want to remind you one more time, please make sure you're following us on Twitter at FFDino Diehards, also at razzball, at Nate Polvogt, at FF Mad Jester, my co-host Matt Chester, who is not with me today. Make sure you're following Dave at Dave Fantasy. Guys, thank you so much for checking us out here. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.